What happens when the cute, shy junior you promised to help suddenly becomes a bold, assertive tease? This is Hisamizu Yuuki, a cool and collected high schooler, and this is Yurino Ayumi, his adoring junior who needs a little help to get into the same high school as him. With a promise to keep tutoring her, Yuki becomes her inspiration. It's the perfect setup for a sweet, wholesome school romance. But that was a year ago. Now that they're finally in the same school again, the roles have completely reversed. The once timid Ayumi is now a confident and forward kouhai, whose main goal seems to be making her senpai's heart race. From suggestive proposals to possessive glares, she keeps the once cool Yuki constantly on his back foot. But her flirtatious behavior is reserved only for him. To everyone else, she shows a cold, intimidating side that leaves them terrified. What exactly happened in the year they were apart?
To find out, watch the full video, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
A young girl named Yurino Ayumi, who is 14 years old, exclaims, "Eh?" with a surprised look on her face. She asks her senior, "Senpai, you're going to Minami High?" A 15-year-old boy named Hisamizu Yuuki is sitting in a library. He thinks to himself, well, that level of school was just about acceptable for my parents. Ayumi looks at a paper, perhaps her grades, with a worried expression. She thinks, it's going to be tricky to get in with my grades, I'm sure. Yuki then appears and looks at her paper, startling her. He comments, it sure will. Minami High is just acceptable? Later, Yuki is helping Ayumi study. He points out a mistake on her paper saying, you should solve this one like this. Ayumi says, He then points to another error. Also, this one is wrong. Ayumi lets out a small, eh? Yuki continues, you still have another year, so I'm sure it'll work out, right? Ayumi looks down disheartened, thinking, Yuki says, but... After studying, Ayumi has a happy and determined look on her face as she writes. She thinks, I did it, and senpai really is a brilliant teacher. She then shyly asks Yuki, who is blushing, listen, if you pass the exam, shall I come and oversee your studies again? Yuki is taken aback and asks, you will, really? Ayumi clarifies, only if you pass. Ayumi, with a hopeful and blushing face, asks, do you promise? Yuki, looking away but still blushing, promises, yeah, I promise. A year has passed and Ayumi is now a student at Minami High. She thinks, and so a year has gone since I entered Minami High. Yuki and his friend are also there and he notes, we're already in our second year, huh? His friend points out a girl saying, I spy with my little eye a cute girl. He then exclaims, I'm going to get myself a cute girlfriend this year. Yuki wishes him good luck. His friend then notices something about the girl and says, but isn't she getting taken up in something? Yuki looks over and wonders, isn't that... Two other boys are talking to Ayumi, with one saying, have you chosen a club yet? The other adds, we'll show you around the school. Come on, let's go. Yuki runs towards them, telling his friend, sorry, you go ahead. His friend asks, what's wrong? Yuki interrupts the other boys, yelling, hey! Ayumi looks at the boys with a cold and intimidating glare, saying, that won't be needed. The two boys are frightened and apologize, we're sorry, before retreating. Yuki is shocked by her change in demeanor, thinking, Ayumi's expression softens as she turns to Yuki with a bright, blushing smile. She says, senpai, you found me. She gets closer to him, making him blush and step back. He stammers, eh? I was going to look for you, but... He notices how much she has changed. Hasn't she become kind of flirtatious? What? He feels overwhelmed, thinking, I was too scared to ask what exactly had happened over the course of 1 year. Later, they are sitting on a bench. She asks Yuki, senpai, it's way too hot today, isn't it? Yuki notices her shirt is quite open and gets flustered, thinking, eh? It certainly is. So hot. He looks away, saying, no, it's not like I was trying to look. Ayumi innocently asks, where are you looking, senpai? How innocent, senpai. Yuki thinks to himself, senpai's at the age where he's interested in those things after all. He continues his thought, but, well, it's okay to look if you want to. Like a girl's body? Or kissing? Or perhaps what comes after that? If she had the chance, then she would seduce you for sure. Flustered, Yuki stands up and tells her, "Treasure your body more." As he runs away, Ayumi calls after him, and "Senpai, please give me a reply sometime." As Yuki runs off, Ayumi thinks, "Or so you would think, but I know." Two other boys approach her, with one saying, "Forget that guy, just hang out with us."
Her suggestive behavior is
Can you not touch me?
only reserved for me. Ayumi is trying to wake up Yuki on what appears to be a school rooftop. She says, "Senpai, wake up please." She notes that lunch break is going to end soon. Getting closer to his ear, she warns, "If you don't wake up, I'll assault you, you know." Yuki jolts awake with a start, exclaiming, he looks flustered as he scrambles back. He says, good morning." He then tells her, surely there are other ways of waking me up." With a suggestive smirk, Ayumi asks, "You'd rather be the one assaulting than being assaulted, is it?" Yuki becomes extremely flustered, exclaiming, "Those are things that lovers do." Ayumi seems surprised and clarifies, "It's not like I want to be lovers with Senpai." Yuki thinks to himself that he knew that already, but being told it to his face isn't very nice. Ayumi looks confused and says, I mean, we don't need to be lovers." Ayumi then touches his hand, explaining, "Because right now we're at such close distance, and you can touch me like this because it's fine for you to do as you like to me whenever you want." Yuki suddenly pulls his hand away, telling her, "It's not fine. You shouldn't toy with people." He thinks that her facial expression is dangerous. He then tells her he has one more thing to say. "You didn't say that you didn't want to be lovers." Ayumi cheerfully waves at Yuki, saying, it's Senpai." The narrator thinks, "My kouhai is cute, but I don't want to meet her when I'm with others." Yuki is with another girl who remarks, "Ooh, good for ya being so close with such a cute girl." The girl says her notebooks are heavy and she should get going, then smirks at Yuki, asking, "Is that so? Just the two of you?" Ayumi approaches them and asks, but didn't you say you were going to watch over me studying today?" Ayumi then stares at Yuki and asks seductively, "Senpai, please teach me more about that." The other girl looks shocked. Later, in a classroom, Yuki scolds Ayumi, If you say something like that, what are you going to do if people misunderstand?" He thinks there was definitely a misunderstanding. Ayumi innocently asks, "What are you imagining?" Then adds, "JK, I know already." She leans in close to him, untying his tie, and whispers, "You prefer to be taught, right?" Yuki is stunned into silence, only managing a... He is blushing intensely, thinking, He thinks to himself that she hit the bullseye and it made his heart skip a beat, but he's not a masochist. He wonders what she means by being taught. Ayumi then says, "I also want to be taught." The narrator explains that after this, they had a normal study session. A new scene begins with a different boy who has noticed Ayumi. He thinks that the girl from the neighboring class has caught his eye, but she's always with a guy. He's excited to see her on her own, thinking, today she's on her own. What a chance. God, thank you. He dashes over to her and says, "Hey, you're from B class, right? Can I have a bit of your time?" He explains that his friend canceled on him and now he has a spare ticket to a popular cake buffet. He happily asks her, "Want to go together?" Ayumi turns to him with a terrifying glare and states, "I'm on a diet." The boy is scared, thinking, such a cute girl can make such a scary face? He quickly apologizes, "I'm so sorry," and runs away. The boy is seen sneaking up on Ayumi, who is sitting on a bench. He observes her and thinks, there he is, the aforementioned guy. Yuki then approaches her, looking flustered and out of breath. He apologizes, "I forgot to tell you I was going to be late, sorry." Ayumi asks, What are you going to do? Maybe a kiss?" Yuki then says he will do something as a form of apology. He suggests, "I'll treat you to some ramen later. How about it? It's okay to get a large serving if you want." He thinks to himself, that's your apology? Shouldn't it be something else? Like presents or dates? She definitely won't go to a place like that. To his surprise, Ayumi's priest lights up and exclaims, I will go." The boy is shocked and thinks, she's going. Later, Yuki reflects, "My kouhai is cute. That same girl has two things that make me worry about her." Ayumi is leaning close to him and asks, "Senpai, what's wrong? You're staring at me so much. Are you perhaps thinking of lewd things?" When he doesn't respond, she leans in closer and whispers, "If you stare at me that much, I might just kiss you, you know."
He is startled and apologizes for staring too much. Ayumi asks, "Why are you getting so embarrassed, senpai?" Yuki is very flustered. Yuki's first worry is about things like this. He is seen sitting on a bench when Ayumi finds him, saying, "I finally found you." The second worry is the fact that she's scarily cold towards anyone other than me. Ayumi asks, with a menacing expression, "Who are you?" This leads Yuki to confront Ayumi. He says, "I know it's weird for me to be worried about this, but hey, do you get on well with anyone other than me? Are you okay?" Ayumi replies, It doesn't matter either way, right?" Yuki insists, "It does matter." Ayumi then tells him, You don't have to worry. You might just up and disappear, right? Or I might suddenly change schools. Or tomorrow I could get into an accident." Her eyes tear up as she continues, "Or there's potential that I might just die today." She exclaims, Then cries, "But if senpai isn't around anymore, I'll die." Yuki is shocked, thinking his worries are growing. He thinks she is definitely not going to disappear or die. One day while they are sitting on a bench, Ayumi tells Yuki, "Hey senpai, I have to be a maid." Yuki is confused, thinking, one day out of the blue my kouhai said she was going to be a maid? He asks, "Are you talking about working as a maid?" He thinks it's something like that. Ayumi looks upset, and Yuki thinks, "I can't believe she was this badly off." Ayumi says she doesn't really want to do it, but at some point it was decided she would do it. He asks her, "Why didn't you refuse?" Ayumi explains, "It's fine. There's no way out of it now, so at least..." She grabs his hand and says with determination, "Before I serve others, won't you let me be yours, senpai? As if I could do that. Your heart and your body belong to you. If you don't have a way out of it, then I'll help you." Yuki with a concerned look tells her, "When it gets hard, come to me for help." She thinks, "Senpai, this is really hard for me to say," but she then gives Yuki a ticket and explains, "I'll be working at a maid cafe for the school festival. Here's a main ticket." Yuki realizes his mistake, thinking, I jumped to conclusions. I said something super embarrassing." Ayumi is laughing and he tells her to stop. He thinks, "Oh man, please forget that I even said that." Ayumi smiles brightly and says, "Well, I really didn't want to be a maid in the first place, so I won't forget." She adds happily, "I'll keep those words close to me." Yuki thinks to himself that the school festival is tomorrow, and Ayumi had said she wanted to talk about something urgent. Wondering what it is, he slides open a classroom door, announcing his arrival. He is immediately jumped on and knocked on the floor by Ayumi, who is wearing a full maid outfit. Lying on top of him, Ayumi greets him with a cheerful, "Welcome home, master." Yuki is completely shocked and yells, "Eh!" Still on the floor, Yuki asks her what she's doing. Ayumi explains that they're having a maid cafe at the school festival, but he had said he wouldn't come. She tells him that in order to make him want to come, she will show him a maid's charm. Then she leans in close with a seductive look and says, "Master, I'll be giving you lots of service today." A flustered Yuki tells her that as long as she doesn't say things like that in front of other people, he'll come to the cafe. He then points out that it would be impossible since it's a maid cafe.
Ayumi corrects him, saying maids don't say those things in the first place. She then wonders what she should say instead, getting frustrated. Suddenly, Ayumi pins Yuki against a wall and asks, "How would you like to be disciplined today, master?" Terrified, Yuki begs her to go easy on him. With a smile, Ayumi asks if this is how he pictures his partner and if this is how he sees her. Yuki thinks to himself that this is no longer just a maid. On the day of the school festival, Yuki goes to the maid cafe to check on Ayumi, worried about whether she's doing her job properly. He finds that the cafe is bustling with activity and that Ayumi is diligently cleaning with a broom. He observes that she's been doing nothing but cleaning and concludes that, in a way, she was the best maid. The narrator explains that he is helping his kouhai with her studies after school. Ayumi happily shows him her midterm test, on which she scored an 82, exclaiming, "Senpai, I did pretty well in the midterm test." Yuki praises her for doing her best, and Ayumi says it's because he is a good teacher. As Yuki suggests they review her mistakes, he thinks about how wholesome their relationship is. Ayumi then interrupts him to ask, "Senpai, do I not get a reward?" Yuki struggles to think of a reward other than ramen. Ayumi suggests that they should give each other rewards, like treating each other to juice for getting above-average marks. She then adds a less wholesome suggestion. Touching each other wherever we like if we get full marks. Maybe. This makes Yuki blush intensely. While walking home, Ayumi reminds Yuki that she hasn't received her reward yet. Yuki, worried that she might have actually gotten a perfect score, tells her they shouldn't do the touching thing and that a more wholesome reward like a meal would be better. She bites her finger seductively as a shocked Yuki jumps back, yelling, What are you doing?" Ayumi then suddenly presents a test paper with a perfect score of 100, calling it my reward. Yuki is once again worrying about how his kouhai is so cold to other people and wonders if she has any friends. Then he overhears a group of girls talking. One of them had lost her wallet, and the other two had helped her. The girl is relieved and says they need to thank the person who turned it into the staff room. Seeing this, Yuki is moved to tears, thinking with immense relief she has friends. Yuki overhears a group of girls talking about Yuki and Ayumi. One of them asks Ayumi's friend, "Ah, right, you have that study session with the person you always talk about today, right? Any developments?" Another girl chimes in, "Not that. Have you kissed or maybe even x'd yet?" Ayumi replies, "Hey, we're super close." Yuki realizes they're talking about me. Ayumi then appears and states, "We have a more intimate relationship than kissing, so what the hell are you saying?" The other girls are impressed, thinking, "Ooh, how mature." Yuki wonders, is girl talk usually like this? Eavesdropping anymore will probably be scary. You actually want to do it, don't you? Yuki flinches and backs away from the door. Inside the room, it has gone completely silent. Eh? What? Why is it so quiet? Why is it quiet? The other two girls just grin mischievously, with one saying, I see. Her friends think to themselves, she's so damn cute, and we're cheering for you. Yuki, who could only hear their voices from outside, is terrified and confused, thinking, what was that with I see? Girls are scary. Later, a different boy is watching Yuki and Ayumi sitting on a bench. He thinks to himself, it's a bit sudden, but I have a classmate I'm curious about. He observes Yuki, thinking he's always chatting with the school's #1 beauty. Always chatting? He gets flustered and runs away. Suddenly, a friend of his appears, startling him. The friend asks, "Hey bro, what the hell is he doing?" The first boy explains, "I wanted to know what you usually talk about with Kouhai-chan, so..."
His friend with glasses exclaims, "What do you mean normal? I know that you two are always flirting. If you aren't telling, then I'll ask her directly." He walks towards Ayumi, calling out, "Kouhai-chan, I want to ask something." The other boy tries to stop him, yelling, "Idiot, stop!" Ayumi turns around with a menacing glare and says, "Huh?" The boy with glasses is terrified, exclaiming. He staggers back to his friend, asking, "What was that icy cold gaze? Don't tell me you're being bullied." Yuki, who is now with them, says he isn't being bullied. The friend with glasses dramatically cries, "Wah! Either way, I'm jealous. At least tell me how you are getting bullied." Yuki thinks this is bad, and that groundless rumors might start. There's no need to hide what we are doing, right? Talking about it in public is risky. Ayumi approaches the boys and puts a finger to her lips and says, "Shh. Just a little bit should be fine, right?" The friend with glasses presses Yuki. "You're doing something you can't talk about? If you have nothing to feel guilty about, then you can tell me, right?" A very flustered Yuki replies, "I can't." The narrator adds that, quietly, a groundless rumor emerged. On Halloween morning, Ayumi, dressed in a devil costume, meets Yuki. She apologizes for calling him out so early and explains, "My friends forced me to put this on." Yuki says he doesn't mind and thinks she looks like she's enjoying Halloween. Ayumi says she has something to give him, then throws a large bag at him, yelling, "Okay, here comes, hoi!" A flood of sweets pours out of the bag, burying Yuki. He yells, "Whoa!" He asks, "What? These are sweets? Why? What's all this about?" Ayumi explains that they are charms against devils. "Too," she declares, "because only I am allowed to tease senpai." She tells him, if there's a devil that wants sweets, please give them those. Yuki thinks that it's not like there's anyone who would play tricks on him. Yuki then says, "Well, I have brought sweets for someone who I think will play tricks on me." But Ayumi asks who. Yuki then offers her a small bunny-shaped sweet, saying, "Here you go." Ayumi is surprised. Yuki asks, "Aren't you going to play tricks on me? You think I'm the type of guy who would?" Ayumi takes the sweet, looking down with a pout. She says, "It'd be a waste to eat it." The narrator concludes she kept it. Yuki and Ayumi are sitting in front of a large pile of sweets. Yuki asks, "So, what are we going to do with all of these?" Ayumi suggests, "Why don't we eat them?" Yuki asks if she wants to eat all of them. Yuki says, "I don't really eat that many sweets in the first place." Ayumi agrees, saying, "Me too." Yuki points to a specific sweet, but some of them look really tasty, like this one. Ayumi looks and replies, "Doesn't this one too?" "I was thinking the same." They decide, well, we might as well have some.
They wish each other a happy Halloween,